Hi, and welcome to this week's reflection. My apologies, it's a bit later in the week as usual, but as you might work out during the story today, this week has run away with me a little. There is apparently a huge difference between courage and bravery. And it all has to do with the presence or the absence of fear, apparently. Courage is the action with fear present, and bravery seems to be fearless action. Now, I would have to climb into the mind of an energetic Jack Russell to really know the difference in this case. And so the semantics are not really important. But what I did see was maybe a mixture of courage and bravery as my young Jack Russell tried to save his sibling from the jowls of a slobbering Rottweiler during our walk 3 days ago. Now, a fair estimate of an adult Rottweiler dog comes in at about 50 kilograms, and I can tell you it looks a whole lot bigger when it's knocked you over and you're lying on the sidewalk. I don't think I've been hit that hard since my rugby playing days in the South African Air Force, and that lasted about 15 minutes. My AirPods were lying on the sidewalk, my phone was in the gutter, and from the leashes of my two Jack Russells, I felt as though I'd hooked into a marlin. The problem was that one of my Jack Russells was the bait. Having seemingly done enough damage to the first Jack Russell, this Rottweiler then took hold of the second one and was starting to shake him around like a rag doll. Thankfully, the dog walker and from my largely ineffectual stance on my knees in the gutter were able to separate the two dogs. 2 days later, the stitches are healing, and although the injustice of paying a vet bill for the damage caused by another unrestrained dog is still present, at least the anger is abating. What remained clear, though, was the memory of bravery when a 10-kilogram Jack Russell is prepared to take on a 50-kilogram Rottweiler. Just think of Peter Steph du Toit coming around the side of a blind scrum, and your 7-year-old son is in his way and prepared to take the hit, for that is the comparative differential in size. As this whole ordeal was unfolding in a matter of seconds, which felt like hours, I had a single thought. 2 years ago, a very special young friend of ours was mauled horribly by a species of the same dog. She was 11 years old. The details of the attack are not important for the reflection. What captured our hearts was her recovery. Her first words when she woke up after a night of pain in the Mill Park Hospital to her night nurse and her parents at the side of her bed was, "I'm so sorry if I've kept you awake." Needless to say, the magic of this brave young girl weaved and wandered through the wards of the Mill Park Hospital. And medical records don't say whether the support of the staff contributed to her healing, but it was miraculous. And as the adrenaline from my own ordeal starts to wane, it is replaced still with tears of inspiration caused by a brave young girl more worried about somebody's sleep than they are about her own searing pain. As I sit with my two stitched up dogs in the evenings, I'm watching a completely different fight break out in the so-called land of the free and home of the brave. Now, taking a knee in America has become a completely contrasting phrase today from when it was when the NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem in a protest against police brutality and systemic racism. The knee to the neck of George Floyd, which was needlessly violent and beyond the boundaries of brutality. And if America is really going to be the home of the brave, then they will need to be exactly that. They will need to understand what is a home and what does it mean to be brave. Now, unless you have a Mike Tyson accent, there is a big difference between showing faith and showing your face. And whilst anyone can stand in front of a church with the good book in his hand, it will take great bravery for the same man to live with the message of that book from his heart. Whether fear is present or not, bravery and courage are actions taken from a deep and inspiring place. Jack Russell knows this, and so too does a remarkable young lady who never stopped smiling through all her stitches and surgery. I wonder if when history writes the report card on leadership in a few years' time, whether the leaders at the top of the class will be those who were brave in this moment. I hope so. And I hope the owners of that dog have the bravery to at least have a conversation. With thanks to the soul and the sparkle of young Katie Chapman and the millions out there who smile through their sorrow and tap dance through their trauma. Have a great week ahead and be brave. We'll see you next week.